We'll be making our way through the 1990 gaming history and the gaming legends at that time. This has been the favorite gaming era, as well as the starting point of gaming for many. Here we dive in. There's a reminder, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any newly uploaded videos. Hang on till the end of the video, so you don't miss any part of this interesting video. Number 1. MUSHA, Metallic Uniframe Super Hybrid Armor, Sega Genesis, 86.25. MUSHA is a shooter, but it scrolls vertically. In MUSHA, participants took on the role of a massive flying mech pilot, whose ultimate objective was to take out a supercomputer that threatened the planet Earth. Despite being the game with the greatest overall scoring average, MUSHA was not universally liked when it was first released. This is due to the Sega Genesis side-scrolling shooting fatigue among reviewers at the time. Retrospective reviews have been more positive, with some even praising the game as one of the greatest shooters ever made. However, according to game evaluations, MUSHA is the best video game of 1990. As a result, it ranks first on our list too. Would you like to have a MUSHA gameplay? Number 2, PGA Tour Golf, PC, 82.00. Surprisingly, golf video games were highly favorably reviewed by reviewers and extremely popular in the 1990s. With only 3 real courses, the PGA is rather outdated by today's standards. Nevertheless, the game's simulation features were extremely sophisticated at the time, and reviewers were in amazement at the way the ball moved and the wind blew. In terms of history, PGA Tour Golf was a tremendous technical accomplishment more than 3 decades ago, and it was the first real golf simulation. Next up. Number 3, Gaiares, Sega Genesis, 85.83. When Gaiares was first released, it was unique. It's still a really challenging 2D side-scrolling shooter, and some people even think it's the best of its type. It was one of the first Genesis 8 MB cartridge games. As the Earth has been lost to pollution in the distant future, the game's title merged the names of Gaia, which stands for Mother Earth, and the suffix les, which was res. Gaiares was a highly addicting experience since it had a fascinating future premise and even some role-playing game components, such as weapon power-ups. The improved 16-bit capabilities of the Sega Genesis were also visually demonstrated in Gaiares. Number 4, Motocross Maniacs, Game Boy, 84.20. The 1990s saw a peak in extreme sports as well, although Motocross Maniacs made an impression before motocross really took off as a genre in video games around that time. It is a straightforward game, but most Game Boy releases during the 1990s have been as well. In creating a motocross game where players traverse the levels horizontally, Motocross Maniacs referenced Nintendo's Excitebike NES. Motocross Maniacs required some ability to master, but it provided repeat value by allowing players to get faster at each level. While quality-of-life features like battery saves were uncommon at this stage in the history of video games, level completion times weren't going to be saved when the Game Boy was switched off. Number 5, Granada, Sega Genesis, 80.50. Similar to Thunder Force, Granada is a multi-directional shooter. The Sega Genesis was a significant device throughout the first part of the 1990s decade, and it briefly gave Nintendo a serious run for its money. The importance of Sega's brand to those who were born in the 1980s is immeasurable, even though to gamers born in the mid-1990s, Sega will be little more than Sonic and Yakuza. The Genesis provided Sega with a considerable technological edge over Nintendo's NES in 1990. As a result, titles like Granada were comfortably embraced by experts. Although Granada is not particularly innovative by today's standards, shooters like Granada were quite well liked back then. It's safe to say that Genesis processing power helped the game by enabling it to be a quick and frenetic experience for players looking for the best shooter game. Which game would you like to play the most? Comment down below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell us what you think about this video below in the comment section. Let's meet again with another interesting video.